Hello, and welcome once again to Lehto's Law. I'm Steve Lehto, attorney at law in the state of Michigan, where I've been practicing on for 26 years in the fields of consumer protection and lemon law. I often read about this stuff, and I've written a few books as well. Today we're going to talk about the CPO reality versus what they tell you. I've talked about certified pre-owned cars on this program before, and I think that might be the first time I've referred to this show as a program, but I like it. I've talked about certified pre-owned cars before, and I've explained to you that the certified pre-owned car is really just a glorified used car. And people call me sometimes, they'll say, Steve, I bought a car, it's defective, and I want to go into the lemon law. And I say, well, the lemon law doesn't apply to used cars. And they say, well, it's a CPO car. And I say, yes, certified pre-owned is a used car. The only difference is that they give you a slightly better warranty on it to get you to buy the car. And the theory is that they've done some kind of inspection on the car before they've turned it into a certified car, therefore it's somehow passed some kind of inspection. And a lot of people think that what they're buying is that inspection and the right to rely on the inspection, when in reality, what you're buying is a slightly extended warranty. And we've, again, talked about this before, but if you go and look at any website for any company that sells certified pre-owned cars or a program that sells them, you can go and look to see what the CPO stands for and what it means for that company, but it basically just says we inspect the cars or have them inspected, and then when we sell the car to you, you get a better warranty. What they're selling you is a better warranty, not some kind of inspection that you can rely upon. So I got an email recently from a gentleman who said, Steve, I've recently purchased a CPO car and I've hit a snag with the dealer and is hoping to get your take. So this is the idea here. I'm going to give you an example of the kind of stuff that can happen with a CPO car because I suspect this is more common than you'd think. He told me the make, model, and year of the car. It's a 2016. It's a very expensive car. He goes, so I purchased the car about 4 months ago from a local dealer of that manufacturer under a certified pre-owned warranty program. I also opted for the optional wheel and tire coverage package, which cost $3,500. However, after experiencing a flat tire yesterday, the car was towed to a dealer for service. Now, he had it towed to a different dealer than the one he bought it from, but it was a dealer of that manufacturer, so they should honor whatever things he got with his CPO car. Today, they've informed me that I'll be charged $1,000 for new front tires and an alignment. It turns out that the alignment was never checked during the CPO inspection, which led to excessive front tire wear and the subsequent blowout. The tires were new when I purchased it at 18,000 miles and shouldn't have blown out after only 5,000 miles of use. But the dealer calls this wear and tear and won't cover the repair under the wheel and tire coverage package. He says, now I spoke with the repairing dealer's service advisor who told me alignment is usually checked every 10,000 miles. However, there's no history of an alignment check on my car, even though they sold me the car at 18,000 miles. So given the short amount of time I've had it and the fact that the tire problems were caused by a camber issue they should have caught and addressed, I'm thinking I need to have a word with the other dealer that sold me the car to cover the out-of-pocket costs. Do I have any legal ground to stand on? And of course, the answer is probably not. Now, this did not happen in Michigan, so in some other state there might be better laws on this. But here's the issue. He was sold a car, certified pre-owned. One of the things allegedly inspected was the car's alignment. And he bought this tire package for $3,500 to cover anything that goes wrong with the tires. And they're saying, well, we're not going to cover a problem that comes because of an alignment issue. You see the quandary here, right? Because theoretically, one of the inspection items was the alignment of the car, the tires. So in case you're curious about the language, I'm not going to mention the manufacturer because the manufacturers, I think, are all the same on this. But the manufacturer of this particular car, with their CPO language on the internet, says that one thing you can count on is their painstaking certification process. Their painstaking certification process. And the other quote is, your confidence will know no bounds. Your confidence will know no bounds. That is until you try to have them fix something for you. So one of the interesting things he sent me was he sent me a link to the tire coverage that he bought, this $3,500 tire coverage package. And it says, unmatched coverage that won't leave you flat. Ha ha. The ha ha is mine. Your driving experience should be nothing less than first class, whether you're paying cash, financing, or leasing your new pre-owned vehicle. Our first class wheel and tire protector will ensure a smooth ride. This plan includes coverage for each automobile wheel and the tire it's mounted on, for damage due to a covered road hazard. costs related to the replacement of wheels and tires, coverage for the usable tread life of the tire, replacement of a wheel rim damage due to the failure of a tire covered under our plan, and there's no limit on the number of claims. With so many benefits, this will make your driving experience worry-free. That is, of course, until the flat tires are caused by an alignment problem. So I wrote him back and explained to him that you'd have to dig through all the paperwork, but I suspect that the CPO does not say that you have the right to rely upon the inspection. They're simply extending your warranty for you. But it does raise the kind of question that you should be able to go back to the dealership and say, I'm just curious, how do you certify this car as having a good alignment when it clearly doesn't? So I got an email back after I posed that question to him. He says, Steve, I spoke with a store manager today, and he's just not willing to work with me in any way. He contends that it's not uncommon for tires on this type of car to wear out in the 5,000 mile range, between 5,000 and 8,000 miles. Can you imagine? Tires wear out after 5,000 miles. And he's basing it on anecdotal evidence from his employees. The letter writer says that just doesn't add up from what I heard from his service techs and the nature of the wear pattern occurring only on the very inside of the tire. More so, and now this is the interesting thing, he asked them, so what about this certification process whereby you certify that this vehicle's had all these different things painstakingly checked, and one of the items is an alignment. How did you check the alignment and miss the fact that this thing's about to eat up a pair of tires? And he says, the lack of alignment service in the car's history is due to the fact that they road test the cars on intake. They road test them. If it rides fine, they give it a pass. Given the outcome, I think it's totally in the realm of possibility they may have missed something important. Unfortunately, I just can't account for the variable that anything could have happened to the alignment after leaving their hands, which is understandable from the dealer's perspective. So he's basically saying that the dealer could say, hey, it rode fine when we checked it on our road test, and then maybe you went out and hit something with it or something. But the funny thing is that the guy's admitting that they don't check the alignment any other way than simply road testing the car. And I can tell you that whenever I test drive a vehicle I'm considering buying, one of the things I always do, and people hate to hear me say this, but it's true, get the car on flat ground, going at a decent speed, and hold onto the wheel very lightly, or even let go of the wheel just a little bit, and see if the car will wander or if it'll hold a straight line on flat ground. And if it pulls to one side, you can often feel that in the steering wheel, but it's more noticeable if you let go of the wheel. Not that I'm saying let go of the wheel and take your hands and do something else with them. Just keep them near the wheel. But if the car will hold a straight line, the alignment's probably okay. But as he noted, the tires wore out on the insides. And I'm not going to get into this because I don't even understand it to the extent that I can explain it to you. But I can tell you that when they quote-unquote align tires, in the front in particular, there's a whole bunch of different things they look at. Are the tires up and down? Are they vertical? Do they toe in slightly, like you see on a tractor? Or do they toe out slightly? Or is one straight and one is off, to where you got to straighten the other one and that one's off? Or, like I said, do they lean in? Do they toe in? There's a bunch of different things. The tires can be all over the place in 3 dimensions. And so if the tires wear in a very unusual fashion, it's often because there's something wrong with that. And I can tell you right now that I had my wheels aligned recently on my Explorer, and it was because I had some work done on the front end. And when I got the car back, it pulled to one side, which I hate. I have a friend who owns an alignment shop. I brought it in and said, Don, knock yourself out. Guys aligned it, now it's perfect. But while I had them, it was up on the rack, I said, by the way, swap the front tires to the back, because the short period of time that I had the alignment off, I noticed that there's a little bit of unusual tread wear in the front. It was chewing up the insides of the tires. Now, I caught it early and just swapped the tires around. I should be okay for a little while longer. But the point is that this car that this gentleman purchased with its CPO painstakingly inspected and so on, clearly had an alignment problem. And it probably had it when the vehicle got traded in. And when they were doing their 200-point inspection painstakingly at the dealership, their idea of a painstaking inspection of the alignment is to drive it and see if it feels okay. And that, of course, is a problem, because that's not how you check the alignment on a car. You don't just go, oh, it feels okay. I mean, that might be how you check the alignment when you're getting a vehicle traded in and you're the used car manager, but that's really not, I don't think, what the manufacturer specifies in their CPO checklist. So I suspect that if you were to go to the manufacturer and say, by the way, there's a dealership down here in this one particular state that sells cars as CPO cars with, you know, all of your attendant advertising, and along with that, they inspect the alignment by taking the car for a test drive. Is that okay with you guys? And I suspect they'd say no, it's not, because if you see the rest of the coverage about how they're, you know, first class and world class, and you know, you likely have a lot invested in what's connected you to the road and all this stuff. You know, they don't. I think I can't imagine that they would endorse that policy of, oh yeah, take it for a test drive, and if it runs straight, you can call it a CPO car with respect to that. So I've mentioned before in the previous podcast I did on CPOs that I've spoken to people who work at car dealerships or who have worked at car dealerships for different manufacturers. I'm not sure about this particular manufacturer, but I've spoken to a good sampling of them. And many of them tell me that when someone turns in a late model purchase or a late model lease at the end of the lease, 1 or 2 years old, if it's going to qualify for the time frame within which they sell CPO cars, that they will routinely take that car and just run it right over the car wash, slap a CPO sticker on the window, and put it on the lot. And the guy said, we don't even pretend to go through the CPO checklist. We don't even know. He goes, we literally put it out on the lot, and while it's sitting out there, somebody else grabs a checklist and starts checking off all the boxes. There's so many boxes, it takes a few minutes to do. Checking off the boxes. Are they really checking the things in the car? No, they're not. Are they checking the alignment? Well, they checked the alignment as they drove it through the lane and then back out to the lot, probably. And I've, besides just hearing about this story, this tale of woe here, I've heard of people who said, you know, Steve, I bought the CPO car, and the craziest thing happened the day I brought it home, and there's no way they could have checked this, that, or the other thing. I say, no, they didn't check it. Obviously, they didn't check it. But that's not the point. The point is that you're not buying the checklist. You're buying the extended warranty. And so, you know, if the extended warranty is going to cover the part that broke when you brought it home, yeah, you're good to go. If not, well, you know, that's just something that you need to keep in mind in the future when you're going to buy a CPO car. So my friend here in another state who bought the car with the painstakingly checked CPO checklist that had the tires go bad so quickly, and then had a guy tell him, well, this car will routinely eat tires in 5,000 miles. Can you imagine? Go broke just buying tires for this thing. I explained to him, I said, look, you know, if you could prove every aspect of what you're telling me, and it turns out that the vehicle had a bad alignment when it got traded in, and the people lied on their certification, and then could you make the argument? And I said, even that would be a tough call. But again, it gets down to the point of, what are you going to sue over? You know, anything in this world that is a good lawsuit liability-wise still needs to have a good lawsuit damages-wise. Otherwise, it's not worth pursuing. And as we pointed out here, what we're talking about is about $1,000. You know, that it was going to cost him to replace the new tires, and he probably has to get an alignment too. So, you know, small claims court, maybe, but it's probably not worth it. Another interesting point that he raised is that, you know, if he had run over a nail, a couple of nails, I guess, he could have gone back and gotten them, and they would have replaced these things, no question asked, because there's a nail in it. And there's certain things that they do cover clearly, but it's the wear and tear they do not cover that gets you. So that's the crazy world of certified pre-owned cars, and that is one example of a CPO reality versus what they sell you. Questions or comments, as always, shoot my way, lehtoslaw.com, LEHTOSLAW.com. I'm on Twitter, at Steve Lehto, at STEVELEHTO, and this show's on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Podbean, Google Play, and YouTube. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.